In New York City, Eddie tries to get his van from the repair shop, but even giving all his rent money won't cover the cost. Right then his daughter Sarah calls, but he skips it to keep fighting with the mechanic. Eddie says he needs the van to get his daughter and do delivery work, but the mechanic still won't help. Then Eddie gets a call from his ex-wife who screams at him because he didn't get Sarah, who is still at school. She tells him that he never puts his daughter first and ends the call. Getting frantic, Eddie sees a worker's wallet on the table. He annoys the owner until he's shoved against the table, which lets him take the wallet without anyone seeing. After leaving, he looks at the wallet and is let down to see it has little money. When he gets to the main street, he searches for possible targets, but there's nothing left alone. He starts pulling on car door handles, hoping to find one that's open with no luck. One of the cars has a barking alarm that scares him, only for Eddie to make friends with it and even give it some water. He also tries calling his friends to ask them for money, but nobody gives him any. Getting lottery tickets doesn't work either, because none of them win prizes. The next time Sarah calls Eddie, he does answer, and he has to listen to her complain about leaving her. But at least she also says she still loves him. After the call finishes, Eddie sees a very expensive SUV in a distant parking lot and tests the door. To his surprise, it's open. He quickly gets inside and starts looking for anything worth money, but only finds sunglasses. When a person walks by, he makes sure to turn away to cover his face. Without anything to take, Eddie gets ready to go, only to find the door closed by itself and is now locked. He worries as he tries the other doors and tries to force them with no luck. When another person walks by, he has to hide again. Then he tries hitting and kicking all the windows, but they don't even break. Suddenly a tablet on the dashboard starts ringing with a call from a contact named Answer Me. Eddie skips it and keeps on searching for a way out, not knowing that someone is watching him through a secret camera in the car. Later he finds a lug wrench in a storage area and hits the window with it, but this doesn't work either. As the tablet stops ringing, Eddie breaks the panel on the door and puts his hand in, only to accidentally get his arm cut by a piece of metal. Soon the tablet starts ringing again, and Eddie continues to skip it while taking off the panel, which doesn't open the door. Then he tries his phone, but he has no connection. Seeing no other choices, Eddie ends up answering the call and meets William, the owner of the car. Eddie yells at him and asks for freedom, but William just laughs and makes the seats shock him as punishment. William says that his car has been broken into 6 times without a single arrest, so he added a special safety system that makes the vehicle work like a jail. Panicking, Eddie takes a gun from his bag and shoots at the window, but the bullet bounces on the bulletproof glass and hits his leg, leaving him badly hurt. At that moment, a woman parks a car nearby, and Eddie tries asking for help. But the windows are dark and soundproof, so she just uses them as a mirror and leaves. Eddie's leg is bleeding a lot, yet William refuses to call an ambulance, saying to be a doctor himself. When Eddie tries his phone again, it still won't work, and William explains that the car is blocking all signals. Tying his shoelaces around his leg isn't enough to stop the bleeding, and William keeps shocking him every time he uses bad words. So the mix of blood loss and electricity makes Eddie black out. By the time he wakes up, it's nighttime and raining. To Eddie's surprise, his leg and arm wounds have been wrapped. He checks his bag for something to eat, but both his water bottle and his snack bag are empty. The next morning, William calls again and tries to share a story about his life, making Eddie angry. William shocks him again before turning on the air conditioning and playing yodeling music. At first, Eddie says the song is okay, but this goes on for hours and drives him totally crazy. That night, he's so cold that he uses the seat covers as a blanket. When William calls, Eddie gives a real apology and promises not to be rude again. Without a word, William turns off the air conditioning, but still won't let him go. The next morning, Eddie pees in the empty water bottle before he starts braking the car, hoping to find a way out. But nothing works. When William calls to make fun of him, Eddie sees someone staring at the parking lot from a balcony. They start talking, and when Eddie gets sassy, he gets shocked again. That doesn't stop him from saying that if William lets him die, he'll get in trouble. Eddie says he never killed anybody, and his gun is only for safety. But William doesn't care and thinks the cops are useless idiots, so he won't get caught. William also shares that he has cancer and only 4 months to live. That's why he wants to make a change. Since the system clearly doesn't work, it's up to him to find justice. He asks Eddie for his social security number because he wants to look at his record. If this is Eddie's first crime, he'll be more gentle. But if he has a criminal past, he'll cut Eddie's fingers, like people supposedly do to thieves in some countries. Eddie refuses to give him the number and says that people are forced to steal because the system has failed to give them a job, while rich people like William keep all the wealth. An offended William shocks him again and ends the call to restart the music. In the evening, the temperature in the car starts going up, and Eddie has to strip to deal with the terrible heat. He feels like the rain is making fun of him, and he even thinks about drinking his own urine, but he can't bring himself to do it. William calls to give him water and normal temperature in exchange for his social security number, and Eddie has no choice but to accept the deal. Once William has the number, he turns the heat off and shows he hid a water bottle under the seat when he came to treat his prisoner's wounds. After drinking the whole bottle in one go, Eddie tries to fall asleep, but something in the pocket of his jacket is bothering him. It's the lottery tickets he bought earlier, and there's one he hasn't finished scratching. He does so now and can't help laughing when he finds he's won the money he needed. William calls again to know what's happening, and Eddie begs for food, truly apologizing for his crime with a rather sweet speech. Deciding that Eddie is not a psycho, William opens the glove box to show a snack. Eddie quickly grabs it and sees a switch inside before it closes up. William hangs up when he gets another call, but Eddie can hear his voice on the speakers, and the conversation proves William is a doctor. Then the man says he must go. Eddie sees the figure on the balcony moving, which means that's his captor. Once William has left the balcony, Eddie raises his middle finger for the camera and gets no reaction, which means William isn't watching him anymore. Then Eddie breaks the glove box and takes a picture of the circuits inside, so he can study what he's working with. He puts his arm in and tries to reach the switch, but ends up painfully breaking his nail in the process. When he tries again, the seats start shocking him because William is back and has seen him. The next day, Eddie stays on the front seat pretending to rest, but he has his foot inside the glove box, trying to get the switch. Another day passes, and his body is getting so weak that he has no choice but to drink his own urine. That night, Eddie's foot finally manages to reach the switch and turn on the car's power. He quickly jumps into the driver's seat and takes off, but the car stops in just a few minutes. William calls him to make fun of him, and the car takes off again, but this time the owner is controlling it from far away. As the car moves through the streets, William plays classical music while saying that everyone lives in fear because crime has taken over New York. Eddie worries when the car starts going dangerously fast, and it finally stops in a dark alley where two criminals are beating up a man. William turns on the car lights and honks the horn, getting the attention of a thug who lifts his shirt to show he carries a gun. The car speeds up and runs over the guy while William laughs. The second thug begins to run in fear while shooting behind him, but the bullets do nothing on the bulletproof glass. A chase happens, and the criminal makes a sudden turn to try to lose the car, only to find the street blocked by a gate. William makes the car go faster and slams it against the gate to hit the man. When the thug tries to stand up, the car keeps on pushing until the guy is badly hurt and bleeding. After lots of yelling, Eddie convinces William to stop, and the car moves back. But William is just making fun of him, and he moves it again to crush the guy's skull. An angry Eddie starts to yell all kinds of bad words, so William plays loud music while sending the car through the streets again. It's going very fast and barely manages to dodge other incoming vehicles. It enters a parking building and goes up the ramps very quickly until it reaches the roof, where it moves even faster to shake Eddie. He freaks out when he sees the car approach the edge, but it stops at the last second, making Eddie hit his head and pass out. In the morning, Eddie wakes up in the car, which is still moving through the city. William shows he visited Eddie's family and even took Sarah to school by pretending he works for a non-profit group. While William scolds Eddie for owing his ex-alimony money, the car stops in front of the school, and Eddie is scared to see Sarah coming out. She goes home alone, and the car starts following her to the point it passes, right next to her, as if trying to kill her. Sarah sees the car coming after her again, and tries to go faster on her scooter, while Eddie cries as he apologizes with all the kind words he knows. This isn't enough for William, who makes the car go faster. Desperate to stop this, Eddie grabs his gun and tries to harm himself, but it doesn't have any bullets. William makes the car dodge Sarah just in time, and says he took the bullets when he stitched Eddie up. The rest of the day, Eddie stays silent, while William continues to rant against the system. When night falls, Eddie finally snaps. He rips out all the cameras and kicks the tablet until it breaks. The car won't stop, so Eddie looks at pictures of Sarah on his phone and records a heartfelt message for her, apologizing for not being a good father. Unfortunately, he can't send it because the signal is still blocked by the car. Moments later, the vehicle stops at a different parking lot, and William lowers the window to say hi. Eddie freaks out and tries to attack, but William keeps on shocking him until he calms down. After spraying some perfume to deal with the stink of Eddie's poop, William hands him some zip ties and tells him to bind his wrist. At first, Eddie refuses, but he has to obey after William shocks him again. Once Eddie's hands are tied to a hook in the car, William gets in and leaves a bag in the back seat. After putting the bullets back into the gun, William allows Eddie to have a cigarette and drops some gummy bears for him to eat. Then he turns on the classical music and takes off. During the trip, Eddie keeps asking questions about William's daughter, making him stop the car multiple times just to make Eddie hit his head on the dashboard. William goes on a rant about the new generation and shows that his daughter was killed by some thieves who tried to steal his car. He even puts his gun on Eddie's head as they start arguing about what justice means. While all this happens, Eddie keeps his foot inside the glove box until he manages to press the switch, turning off the power. The car loses control and falls off the edge of a cliff, making Eddie break his nose on the dashboard. William accidentally fires the gun, and the bullet bounces off a few windows before it hits him from behind. After rolling down the cliff, the car stops near a river, and both men fall unconscious. In the morning, the phone sends the message because the blocking system isn't working anymore. Eddie wakes up first and starts struggling with the zip ties. He manages to break free at the same time that William awakens and a fight happens. With all his built-up fury, Eddie beats William up and gets the gun ready to shoot. But at that moment, his phone starts ringing with a call from Sarah. William tells him to answer it, and Eddie hears Sarah say she's very worried because she heard his message. Eddie assures her he's fine and promises to pick her up later. Suddenly, the car engine catches on fire, and Eddie asks William to open the doors, but William says it was fun and dies. Then Eddie checks William's bag and finds a hammer, which is strong enough to finally break a window. Eddie manages to get out of the car right before the flames reach the rest of the vehicle. He walks away with his winning lottery ticket, leaving William's body to burn. When he reaches the road, a driver sees him bleeding and quickly offers him a ride. Moments later, Eddie goes to pick up the van, but the mechanic is still finishing the repairs. Not wanting to arrive late, Eddie decides to sell it to him instead and gets a bicycle that he rides to school. He reunites with Sarah with a very tight hug.